Hi, Dougie Burp from Doug Burts Tackle World here on the Gold Coast. Today we're going to be talking about our offshore and inshore and beach fishery report for the Gold Coast here on the 29th and 30th of August, coming up this weekend. Well, we've had a bit of good weather during the week, so it's been not too bad. For the offshore, we'll start in the offshore. So the guys offshore went out quite a few days this week, and there was fish caught pretty well all over the place, but they were a little bit patchy. I'd be probably fishing like on the 24s early morning. You want to be out there sort of at first light, literally fishing at around about 5:15 or 5:30 before the sun even makes any light, and fishing very light. So fishing sort of size 1 or 2 or 3 ball sinker onto a couple of snelled 5/0 hooks, 30-pound leader, or gang hooks, and fishing pilchards. As soon as that sun rises, hope you got a couple of good snapper by that time. As soon as the sun rises, I'll be switching to probably plastics or micro jigs or the canis jigs, and yeah, giving that a go. So 24 is probably down off sort of main beach or surface area, so that 27.58 to 28.00 on your latitude, and yeah, at about 153.30, 153.31 on your longitude. So check out that area. You do get some good snapper in close, and the water temperature at the moment is like fantastic for that sort of snapper fishing. It's about 18.5 degrees, which is probably the lowest I've seen it for a couple of years, I think. So that normally brings the biggest snapper in, and we've been waiting for that all season until now, so it's perfect timing. So yeah, concentrate on anywhere from 18 to 24 fathoms east of the seaway. For those of you who want to go to 36 fathoms, there's been a lot of fish northeast, but they're hot and cold, so you're either on a patch or they're there and they're not biting. So you just got to be lucky on the area that you're fishing. I'd be fishing probably up around 27.48 or 27.50 on your latitude, and down east of the seaway, sort of on around 27.59, 28.00, which is sort of down off, about off sort of surface area. It's been fishing not too bad as well. So the bigger fish seem to be east, less numbers, but good fish like 80 centimeters, even up to nearly 90, are coming in, and they're catching those on like 100-gram jigs, and also on pillies, of course, and a couple of live baits as well. A few pearl perch, a few parrotfish, and a few trade Jew mixed in with them as well. So yeah, that's not too bad. The 36s out wide on the 50-fathom reefs, that's been the hot spot. That's what's all happening. It's been predominantly northeast of the seaway, up around 27.42 on your latitude, which is your south mark, and about 153.42 on your longitude. You'll see boats up in that area. There's quite a few pinnacles and rises and ledges, and the snapper up there at the moment are quite plentiful. They're in that sort of averaging around 45 to 65 centimeters, and which aren't too bad a size snapper, and just float lining. Even in 85, 90 meters, we're float lining, but we're using like an 8-ball sinker or a 9-ball sinker, and straight onto a set of gangs or onto 2 big snelled hook 6/0s, and around about 50-pound leader, 60-pound leader. At the moment, there's quite a few amberjacks and kingies there as well, so the chances are you'll probably hook up on them as well whilst you're fishing for the snapper. If you're going to do the jigging, definitely jig. So if you see those bait schools, there's a lot of slimies out there at the moment, really big slimies. You can jig those up and drop them out live as well for the kingies and amberjack, but jigging is much more fun, and you can either do slow pitch or you can do fast jigging. It'll both work out there at the moment. So look around that area, look for the bait schools, look for the snapper schools, fish snapper early, switch to jigging later on once you get your bait going pretty quick on the snapper, I think. Yeah, so that's been not too bad. The current at the moment is running at about 0.9 of a knot out there, so it's not too bad. I think by Sunday it gets up. Sunday's not a bad day actually, by the way, weather-wise, at this stage. It gets up to around about 1.1 or 1.2 knots on Sunday, which is still nothing. It's actually a really nice current to fish. Just make sure those westerlies aren't humming in, that's all. The swell there during the week was absolutely huge, and out further it's even much more bigger. I think we're out Tuesday, and the swell out and around that 250 metre mark was around about, I reckon, a solid 4 metres, maybe 6 on the set, so it was absolutely monstrous, mountainous. But once you get out to about 400 metres, it dropped off a bit. But yeah, so we went out deep dropping on Tuesday and got some nice blue white trevally around Jim's Mountain. So if you, and also some bar cod just inside of that as well. So if you want to catch a few fish on the electric reels, head out that way and have a look. The current's really good at the moment, so really slow drift, and it's really good fishing at the moment. So definitely worth a look for those who are into deep dropping. For trolling out there, a few guys did fish for blues. I think it might have been a striper or a blue caught, a couple caught during the week, but definitely a few tuna getting around. Next month is the tuna month, like September is one of the best. You want to go a couple of days after a northerly where the water's a bit cool, or look for an upwelling on the current charts, where it goes a bit cooler, the water goes even cooler, and that's what brings the tuna in and makes them feed. There's a lot of bait out there. The other day we were out there in like 450, 500 metres at Jimmy's Mountain, and there was bait showering. There was like saris or something in that sort of style. There's even slimies too. There's slimies out there as well, which I haven't seen for a while. So yeah, give it a shot out there. Might be worth a go. The water temperature on Tuesday was 21.9 or 22 breaking, 22 at times. So the water's very clear there, very nice, and just nice temperature, yeah. So spanner crabs is the other thing I'd recommend offshore this Sunday or Monday. We all know September's the best month for spanner crabs offshore. The pros at the moment aren't really hammering it too much, so there'll be a lot of crab out there. I'll be definitely looking anywhere from Kurrajee in the north, in that 50 metre depth, down to sort of Q1 building 50 metres depth, all the way along through that area, just outside the 24s and all the way along. Get yourself some spanner crabs. There's not much current, so it's absolutely perfect for spanner crabbing. Other than that, that's about probably it for offshore at the moment. Oh, maybe if you're in a little tinny and you want to get this weekend just for a fish and the swell does drop off, if it does, just be careful of the swell, guys, because you've got run out tide in the morning. I would probably maybe look around the sandbags for Taylor, which is off Narrowneck there, and also around the Scottish Prince. It's a wrecked sort of off back of Seaworld there, and also just out on the 12 fathom reef. You might get Taylor or maybe a Dewey or something like that on a live bait, or cobia. Should be cobia still around too, by the way, on all the reefs. So just be careful of whales at the moment, especially if you're traveling in the dark. Bit of a problem. There's a lot of whales still. They're probably more thicker at the moment than they have been in the past few months. So just be careful. They're all the way out to way past 50 fathoms. So 36s, 24s. There's whales everywhere and they're big. So be careful. Inside, jumping pin area. Yeah, heaps of flaties, a lot of flaties around. I'd be trying probably around Pandanus Island, the banks around Pandanus to Tipless Channel, over around Wally's Gutter, probably Tiger Mullet Channel as well, especially down the back end of it, maybe along Kalinga Bank and around the lagoon on the end of South Straddie. I'd be definitely trolling the flats on the high tide, trolling little minnows. Definitely looking for tailor as well on some of those flats, and especially on the edge of the banks around Crusoe Island. You might get a few tailor as well at the moment. Just casting lures, trolling lures, and that sort of thing. Out on the surf side, on the end of South Straddie, that's where the bigger tailors seem to be, on the top end of South Straddie, northern end, and you'll get them casting things like this type of thing here, which are new lure from X-Wrap, the new colour, sorry, but that type of thing is really good. They're a stick bait, or you can use like a swimming minnow style in the same thing that has a bib on it and will actually swim. But the thing is that they're 40 grams, so you can get a fairly good peg on them. You can cast them probably 60 to 80 metres on 20-pound braid, and then retrieve it back in. So if you're a bit worried about getting too close to those waves on the outside edge of the surf, just peg one of those out and work it back. It'll be pretty good. Yeah, so whiting, fishing in the jumping pin area, probably try around Goldbank and up around Cabby Street Point. Plenty of bream around Crusoe Island on the deep edges, both on the eastern side and the tip there, northeastern tip. A few sand crabs in Tipless Channel, that's about it. Down the Broadwater end, it's been pretty good fishing down this way at the moment. The seaway's been still producing dewies, not big ones, but quite a few numbers. So a few undersized ones and a few over 75 centimetres. So get yourself some live herring, yakkers, slimies, or even just pillies, or even jigs work out there sometimes as well, micro jigs. So get out there and jig for the dewies on that last to run out tide, which is sort of late morning, and that'll be definitely worth a shot on the end of that north wall. Just be careful of the waves though. Again, you never know the swell this time of the year. You get those lows that kick in off Sydney, and they really roll the swell up. It takes a couple of days to get it, but when it comes in, it's quite big. So always be careful of that pulse in the swell that comes in a couple of days after southern lows gone past. And the seaway also plenty of bream and a few squire as well, and a few parrotfish as well, just drifting the northern channel between wave break and the walls of the seaway. In further up the Broadwater, around Crab Island, there's been a few flatties, and definitely the aldershot are fishing not too bad. The snotweed seems to have dissipated a little bit, so making life easier to troll lures and cast. There's been a few schools of those little doggy mackerel around, which I've been watching on the guys on Gold Coast Fishing Charters and Brad Smith's charters, and then Clint. They've been getting quite a few little doggy mackerel in their charters at the moment. So just using little metal lures and trolling small lures as well will be quite good, productive, I reckon. You might get the odd bite off, but that's how it goes. But definitely worth a try for them. Try up around Crab Island and further up around Sovereign Island would be worth a go. Sovereign and Effort Islands would be worth a go. There's still squid around too, folks. There's still some big arrow squid actually. Just the normal spots around Crab Island and on the eastern channel and the western channel heading up towards Baby Harbour. A few sand crabs around Baby Harbour as well, overnight Sylvest, and a few whitings starting up the Nerang River as well around the council chambers at night time. And around the Gold Coast Bridge, you get the odd little mackerel there too, by the way, in front of the marinas there at Raj and the Sheraton there. Probably about it in the Broadwater at the moment. If you're going to go fish on the beach, I went down last Sunday night and my mate got a few tailor, and we fished Narrowneck, and the tailor was a bit smaller this last weekend. I don't know why, but they were sort of around that 35 to 40 centimetre mark, where the previous weekend they were up to around 50 centimetres. So I don't know what happened there, but they shrunk. But definitely worth a go for tailor at night time. We didn't have enough swell the other night. There was actually like just the odd wave, so the swell's been up a bit better during the week, so it'd definitely be worth a try this weekend, I do think, on the beach down at Narrowneck, and maybe down opposite Phillip Park, or near Sheraton Mirage there in the car park opposite that on the spit. Down Mermaid Beach has been really good as well, and definitely worth a go. Haven't heard of any jacks around, folks. I'm sorry about that. The odd jack's been caught, so probably give them another month, I reckon, and just concentrate on flatties at the moment, or tailor, or jews. Yeah. If you're going further down the coast, I don't hear much around the Tweed area at the moment, but would definitely be worth fishing off Talbudger Groin and maybe Burley Rocks if it's not too rough for tailor, and probably definitely down further south over the border if you're from New South Wales. Fish that Cabarita down to Brunswick Heads area, New Brighton, and further down south around Ballina. There's definitely be a few jewies around as well, around the Ballina Bar there, I dare think, and even further down. Haven't heard much else besides bream and flatties, the usual in the Tweed River. It's been not too bad. And no muddies yet, folks. Haven't had many mud crabs, so hold off on the muddies for a bit longer. In the freshwater side of things, the Hin's Dam, a few bass around still. Been pretty good actually. A few red claw again at Maroon, a couple of customers been out there. And at Somerset, there's been a few red claw and a few bass there as well. And that's probably about all I've got to say about fishing off the Gold Coast for this next week. Weather-wise, I think you're looking at Sunday being the better day of the weekend, and probably Tuesday next week the better day of the week, before we get howling winds again. But definitely make a run for it if you can get the chance on those couple of days to get out for a fish, and good luck out there as well. This weekend too, folks, just so you know real quickly, we've got a bit of Father's Day sale on, so most of the gear in the shop here is 20% off, except for reels, which are just the best price online, that we will match that. Everything else is 20% off, and it runs for the whole week, just to let you know that. Yeah, that's it, and we'll talk to you next week about Father's Day, and good luck over the weekend. Thank you. Bye.